Hello friends, welcome to our channel Creating Essence. I am Megan and I'm so glad you're here today. It's the first Wednesday of the month, so around here that means it's Wellness Wednesday. Now typically I do an update on things like my health journey and my weight loss journey. Sometimes I deal with mental health, physical health, things of that nature. Today it's going to be a whole lot of everything. My sweet friend May over at the channel, Mrs. May Shank, formerly So Very Domestic, last month started doing what she called a 100 days challenge. I will link that video in the info box below in case you want to check it out. But kind of in short, she just talked about the scientific process of forming habits, changing habits, things of that nature, and that is how she chose 100 days. She also chose 3 areas of her life that she was kind of going to tune into. Because we all know when you try to make changes, regardless of the type, if you try to do everything at once, it can be really, really hard. So she invited anyone and everyone watching to come along. So I thought this would be really fun to join in on her 100 days challenge, even though she started it back in the middle of July when I was on vacation. So I'm a couple weeks behind her, but I'll still do my own 100 days. I'm just kind of jumping in sort of at the beginning, middle-ish of her 100-day challenge. First of all, an update on my mental health. So much better. In the last couple of videos, I have talked to you about resurgence of the PTSD I've dealt with for almost 5 years now, and the anxiety and depression I have dealt with since I was born. I am incredibly grateful to say I am feeling so much better. Things are going so much better. Certainly not flawless. I don't expect it to be, but so much improvement, and I'm so grateful. As far as my weight loss and my physical health, those two things kind of go hand in hand. And my weight loss came to a standstill about midsummer, and then over the last month has started creeping back up, which is frustrating but understandable. One thing you need to know about autoimmune disease, if you don't already know, is that for most people, heat is terribly difficult to deal with. What I deal with is no different. I can handle 1 or 2 really hot days, but when it starts to be every single day, you're kind of not cooling down, you're staying hot, my energy just plummets, my inflammation rises, I get aches and pains, the brain fog starts to return, and it's not even like an autoimmune flare, like the disease flaring. It's kind of your body's inability to deal with that environmental stress. I can always tell when I first get up in the morning, the moment I step out of bed and my feet ache, I've got some inflammation rising, and my hands are usually tight, and then I look in the mirror and my face is puffy. I get puffier on my chin. I look like I gained about 10 pounds overnight. My eyes are puffy. Mornings are pretty rough. I heard someone say this spring that it really stuck with me and kind of proved itself to be true over this summer. An unhealthy body cannot lose weight. Like, okay, that sounds kind of untrue because we all know some people, when you get sick, sometimes you do lose a lot of weight and it's really unhealthy. What it means is an unhealthy body can't meaningfully lose weight. Like if my body is not well, regardless of my efforts, I'm probably not going to meaningfully lose weight. You may get dehydrated, you may get malnourished, and those things may temporarily cause a decrease on the scale, but I'm not going for numbers. I'm going for wellness of my body. And that kind of meaningful, sustainable weight loss is just not possible for an unhealthy body to do. And that's kind of where my body's been this summer. I've been at a plateau, understandably so. And then with the inflammation increasing, so's that number on the scale. Because when your body has inflammation, really that's weight. So now with it being August, we're starting to we still have our hot days, but we're getting cooler days. And we're also getting cooler nights and cooler mornings, and that helps my body so much. so much, and I am so grateful. So I thought right now, with this new change and the weather trends that are totally natural and normal around here in Southern Virginia, it would be a good time to jump in on May's 100 Days Challenge. So here are the 3 areas that I'm going to be working in. My diet, my nutrition. It can always be better. It really, really can. Over the summer with those low energy days, I realized I was like doing things like buying a whole lot of those huge packs of like paleo chicken sausages and things from Costco. So while they could definitely be worse, there's still a lot of stuff. They are processed. There are things that we don't necessarily want to put a lot of into our bodies. And I got into the habit of using those kind of things a lot. So I'm working on being mindfully cleaner with my proteins, mindfully a lot more veggies. As a family, we're going really almost no gluten. And if it is, it's from the flour I ground myself. And I've actually started learning how to do sourdough instead of using yeast because it's healthier for you overall. And it just really, the sourdough process and how it leavens the dough when you're baking with it helps to naturally ferment and break down those proteins that can be problematic in people's bodies. Now, I have never had a problem with gluten, but it's one of those things that it can't hurt to have a little less of in your diet because it's just doesn't have a whole lot of awesome nutrients for your body unless you're really mindful to make sure it does. I'm also going almost entirely off dairy. I have known since birth that I have dairy protein sensitivity. It's not lactose. I can eat all the butter in the world that I want. I'm just trying to mindfully cut those out, not doing substitutions because I'm not really into the chemically processed substitutions. Just mindfully leaving them out for the most part to give my body an easier time really because I know my body struggles with those things. I'm also going to be food journaling. I have a little notebook that I am working on that I'm going to food journal every day because awareness of what you're actually putting in your mouth, both food and drink. I really only drink black coffee and water, but being mindful that I'm getting like so much water above and beyond what my body technically needs for wellness is really important for my body personally. So I just want to be aware of how that's going and be really careful to track that stuff. I'm also going to be working on reading. So my friend Michelle over at Farm Life Outfitters shared on her Instagram a few days ago about getting on social media, specifically Facebook, and how doing that, especially first thing in the morning, she found to be so damaging to just kind of her mental state the whole rest of the day. And it really struck me hard because I realized I do that. I set my alarm on my phone, and the first thing I do when it goes off is I pick it up, shut off my alarm, and then to kind of keep myself in the forward motion of waking up, I scroll through Facebook. I can't get on Instagram because, you know, the videos and different things make noise and I don't want to wake my husband up if he's not already up for the day. So I just scroll through Facebook and it really just struck me as how true everything she was saying was. So I'm going to be mindful of that. No mindless scrolling. And I'm also getting the Bible Gateway app on my phone. I had it on my old phone. We had to get new phones this spring. I'm not an app person, so I never put it back on, but I'm a person of faith, so Bible Gateway has like a daily scripture, a daily passage sort of thing, and that is something that I can just open the app and scroll through that and look at the scripture of the day and kind of get my brain on the waking up motion that way instead of mindlessly scrolling through Facebook. So I'm doing that to mindfully change that habit. Continue with the replacing of the mindless scrolling. I am going to read more. I have so many amazing books, and I know I've talked about this before, but I have so many amazing books that I want to read, that I've wanted to read for years, that I just haven't. I haven't read. I feel like I don't have time. But when you think about the number of minutes every day that I spend mindlessly scrolling, on the couch, in the kitchen, on the toilet, I could read a book. I really could. I do have time to read those books, but I've got to stop mindlessly scrolling. So that's kind of a bundle goal. And my third goal is decluttering. My friend Jay at the Grateful Sunnights was recently talking about this amazing shelving project that they did in their kitchen. And I will put a link to their video. It is so cool. It's a really short video, but it is a really neat project. You need to check it out. And she talked briefly about how some people can just kind of ignore the clutter and they're fine to keep going. And some people, the clutter really stresses them out. I have always thought that clutter was not a problem for me. It's always been, it's not a big deal. However, when we got home from grocery shopping the day before yesterday, my kitchen was a mess because I'd been doing stuff and I didn't get things picked up before I left. I literally almost started crying, trying to put groceries away in this super cluttered, not like filth, like gross or anything, but really cluttered, huge mess kitchen. I was trying to be productive in there, putting away my groceries and, prepping different things and meal planning and stuff. And I realized maybe I am one of those people. It just made perfect sense to me. So that is the third thing that I'm working on, is decluttering. Every single day, I'm gonna set my timer at some point, whether it's first thing in the morning, right before bed, while the kids are napping, whatever. I'm gonna set my timer for 15 minutes and just pick a room and just do something. Just knock something out as far as decluttering. I have a whole bunch of kids and we homeschool, which means you need even more stuff as far as stuff is concerned. So there's always stuff everywhere. We don't have an enormous home. We have a good size home. It's plenty big enough for us, but closets and storage spaces are severely lacking. So there's a lot of stuff that's put away in plain sight. So I'm going to challenge myself for this next 100 days to work on decluttering, to see if that helps with my ability to be productive, is my stress level. So those three things: the food journaling and mindfully eating, the reading and Xing out on mindless scrolling, and the 15 minutes of decluttering every day. For the next 100 days, I'm going to do those things daily. I'm going to check in with you all every single Wednesday. Every Wednesday is going to be Wellness Wednesday, to see how that's going, to be accountable, to let you know any aha moments I've had, or, to the contrary. But that is going to be my Wednesday plan for the next 100 days. Let me know in the info box below if you have any books you are working on reading, or if you have any awesome decluttering tips that were aha moments for you. I would love to hear about it. Thank you so much for sticking around today, my friends. If you like this video, as always, give us a thumbs up. It really helps YouTube know, hey, they're cool peeps. You should suggest them to other people. And we'll see you again tomorrow, my friends. Bye-bye.